Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. He's got a wealth of medical knowledge because he studied health in his medical college. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. London Smith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We have received some complaints about the overuse of technical terminology I've been using, such as skeleton and pumpkin spice latte, so I'll try to tone it down a little as we go along. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Zip, zop, zorp.
Cameron is like a wind chime in the breeze, catching the subtle changes of winds and pressures of the trends of the world, and then translating that into a melody that harmonizes with the medical topics discussed here so that every ear is highly engaged and tuned in.
Amen, Dr. London.
Also with us is DJ Dylan in the house. Whoop. And later... Okay. And later in the show, Cameron tells me that we can also expect a guest, so look forward to that. Before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. Quote, "Food is great, but the owner Ronnie is a scumbag who sleeps around. I went to the doctor because I thought I had a yeast infection, but then Doc says I got trichomonas. And I am pissed, but I will rise up and hold my head high." End quote. Well, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out to us here at the Jock podcast. We always appreciate hearing back from our listeners. The situation you present, it does sound difficult, with an apparent diagnosis with a sexually transmitted infection, and this Ronnie character being a person of ill repute. Well, it sounds like there's a further story there. So it is understandable that you were upset.
Aren't you going to have this guy's back a little bit? He's a bro. You're just throwing him under the bus that quickly? You don't even know the guy.
That's true. Whenever I said of ill repute, his reputation, from what I can gather from this quote that I have, is that it's negative.
Okay, so it's your job when someone has a negative rep to just throw them under the bus? That's what doctors do? This is just part of your process? Is this what universal healthcare is?
No.
When there's just you try to get everyone on the same level, and it's by throwing every single person under a bus?
No.
Wow.
Okay. For our listeners, to clarify, the concept of universal healthcare is not holding a particular opinion of a given person or group universally. That's not what universal healthcare is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So universal healthcare is the concept of bringing healthcare to everyone, at no or minimal cost, as a right. That's sort of what that's about. Whereas in this situation,
the right to get more people into your offices so you can throw them under the bus. I see exactly what you're going for here, Dr. London. Honestly, it's kind of an alpha move. I'm kind of digging it. I'm changing my mind from what I was saying 45 seconds ago. It's kind of baller.
Okay. So to answer their question, it's understandable that they're upset given the situation, but it sounds like they've already sought professional medical care and they have the right mindset to move on. So to this listener, keep on going, conquer these challenges, and we wish you well. Now for a tale from the clinic. I went to see a Spanish-speaking patient, so I required a translator. I asked the patient what brought them to the clinic today, and they told a long story to the translator, and this took several minutes. So finally, when they had finished speaking, the translator said, "Well, I woke up and went to the restroom. Then I brushed my teeth while in the restroom. Then I went to the coffee maker and made some coffee." And sorry, to bear in mind before this, I just asked what brought them to the clinic today. So to go on, went to the coffee maker and made some coffee.
The coffee mater.
No, I meant to say maker, the coffee machine. So
is this the kind of well thought out, well planned for expertise that I should expect when I step into Dr. London's office? Type of, you got a Keurig coffee mater in the office.
Okay, no, so, and this is
And
just
this
me
is
quoting.
why universal health care is bad or good, because I don't remember where I settled on it moments ago.
Okay. So to continue with that patient's quote, after that, I went to the mailbox and checked the mail. In the mail, I found a letter that said I have an appointment at the doctor's office today. And so that is why I am here today. That's the end of the quote. So now we ask what are known as open-ended questions for these patient encounters, so that the patient has a chance to share their most pressing concerns without us narrowing down the parameters of what they can speak about. This can help making sure that we listen to a given patient in order to arrive at the best diagnosis and treatment options.
Wow.
So when I asked...
So that you have a kind of more thorough and nuanced way to throw them under the bus?
Well, no. So the open-ended question is so that they could potentially guide us more, so that it's
to
not
a more,
us.
It's the context provided to offer a more effective way for you to kind of just screw them over as much as you possibly can.
Well, I don't think. Well, anyway, so
With your coffee mater in your office.
So in this case, the strategy of using an open-ended question, such as "What brought you to the clinic today?"
Or what kind of flavors do you have in your coffee mater?
Okay. So sometimes that can elicit a response like this, which tells us nothing of the patient's actual symptoms.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, so that was that patient. It was a normal thing, sort of at the ER, but that can sometimes happen where you ask an open-ended question. Anyway, now for today's topic, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. The term...
Zesty.
Well, for these patients, maybe not so much. So the term hypertrophy refers to an overgrowth. And in this case, we were referring to an overgrowth of a portion of the heart muscle. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a genetic heart disease that is most commonly inherited in an autosomal dominant fashion. The main problem in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is the diastolic expansion of the heart due to a stiff left lower chamber of the heart. And this can be so overly big and muscular that it actually blocks the outflow of blood from the heart to the rest of the body. So for that reason, patients can present with fainting or even sudden death. And because this is genetic, the sudden death can happen even in a young patient. So basically, parts of the heart are so big and muscular that it blocks the blood that's trying to get out whenever the heart pumps. The classic presentation is...
So you're saying maybe kind of working out the heart area, which we have discussed before, possibly 2 or 3 other times. Mm-hmm. You're saying it's now bad? Because I left those conversations believing, putting in the effort to exercise your heart to make it big and strong, like the Grinch, as we've discussed before,
right? So
was a positive
thing. So in this instance, it's a genetic thing. Their heart is already too big from when they're born.
Okay, like an elephant.
I don't think I felt. Oh, like the size of an elephant? Is that what you mean?
Elephant heart.
Maybe it's more a particular part of the heart is too big.
Okay.
And so that part blocks off the flow of blood to the... I don't think it's an elephant.
So you're saying that these people born with these gigantic hearts are born with this capacity to love?
No.
And empathize with other people more than it's almost like being born with a superpower.
Well...
That's so interesting.
So...
I love science.
Well, so the classic presentation for how this
Medicine is so cool.
how people can find out they have this is a young athlete just suddenly dies,
How young?
like in their teens, like they're in high school playing football,
Okay.
and they just suddenly die, and the sort of classic scenario in which that can happen is from hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
You're saying they loved too much, and that's what did them in.
Well, what I'm really saying is that extra
Personally, Dr. London, I think maybe this world could use some more love instead of trying to tell people that their capacity to love is too large and they need to shrink it or you're going to die on a football field.
Well, no,
Personally, I think that's insane.
I guess I should clarify that whenever I refer to the heart, I'm not referring to the emotional heart. I'm referring to the love.
I'm not either.
I'm not referring
I'm
to
talking
love,
about the physical blob in the
Okay.
upper right part of your chest.
Upper left is where, so that's the liver is what you're thinking of.
I'm just telling you where love is, Dr. London.
So you're under the impression that love is
Stored.
in the liver,
The top right part of the heart.
or I guess upper right chest would actually be just the lungs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where love is stored, Dr. London.
Okay. Well, and so to clarify, from my perspective at least, the extra exercise with compromised blood flow from the heart is actually, that's a recipe for disaster, which is why hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, it's a real medical issue that you basically tell the patients don't exercise, which is a rare thing to tell any patient.
That's literally exactly what I was just saying. Don't exercise because you're stretching your capacity of love beyond what your body can handle.
Okay, and once again, it's not love, it's muscle.
Oh, did you learn that from the back of your coffee mater, Dr. London?
All right. Cameron, did you say that we had a guest today?
We absolutely do, Dr. London.
Okay. All right, who do you have for us today? This is drlondonsmith.com on the Jock podcast. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Fancy Octopus, and I have.
I'm
before
sorry,
we
you're,
get too
you're
deep-
a Fancy Octopus?
Yes, I am. My name is a bit descriptive, like like how Edge is constantly living on the edge, or he is literally just an edge. I am a Fancy Octopus. I escaped from the aquarium, but I'm
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
you can speak. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, I'm just saying I have a little bit of a complaint with your
Okay.
clinic
Oh.
because I was, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, go on.
So I was writing. So I needed to get to work the other day. Well, it wasn't not really work. It was more like a sauce thing. But so I was riding the bus to work, and it happened to pass by your clinic, and we hit a bump, and I'm pretty sure I saw somebody standing out the window just throwing a body in front of the bus, and we went over that body, and it bumped, and it spilled soup all over me, and it really ruined my day.
Wow.
I'm sorry. So, well, yeah, so that's what you mean whenever you say it was more of a sauce thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I spilled sauce all over me. That's really what happened because I couldn't go to work.
The issue
what am I
with-
supposed to do
With
covered in
our
sauce?
clinic was that the bus you were on ran over a body.
Well, Dr. London, why are you responding in such a condescending way?
Yeah, I mean,
you
you
not think
obviously
that-
threw someone under my bus, and it impacted my commute.
Oh, so you're under the impression
Dr.
that I threw a
London.
body. You're under the impression that I was the one responsible for throwing that body under your bus.
I mean, it's the Dr. London Medical Clinic. It's the biggest clinic, in the area. It even says drlondon.com on the side.
Yep.
And my bus goes by it every day, and sure enough, a body was thrown under the bus. And I don't know if it was your assistant, but I'm assuming you tell them what to do. So
That sounds highly atypical for. I don't believe that was anyone at my clinic, as far as I know. Certainly not something that we would do as a part of our clinical practice. Would be throwing any sort
So
of.
this is something you've done on your free time. This is not something that
yeah, this is
It's
so.
not-
I mean, I'm not trying to bring the Better Business Bureau here. I mean, it was just a little bit of sauce on my jacket, but I would definitely say you should take in mind people's commutes when you're throwing people under the bus.
Okay. And yeah, I guess that's the other part. So normally we would be concerned with, someone being injured by a bus running over them. But so I guess your main concern was just the sauce.
The sauce got on me. It was a good sauce. I mean, this was some expensive sauce.
And these are the kind of risks you have to consider before you just kind of willy-nilly, every single person that you see, every patient that comes into your office, every person you interact with and talk to and have a relationship with, constantly trying to undermine them and kind of really just kind of push them down to the point of suicide, which is a lot of what you focus on. And from what I can tell, listening to this podcast, that seems to be maybe the mission statement of the podcast.
Okay, so I sort of tell the mission statement at the beginning of each episode that we discuss fitness and health.
Well, okay.
And how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives. Go on.
So this is a fitness and health podcast.
Yeah, that's the and I don't know who, or are you sure that someone was actually thrown under the bus whenever the bus ran over them?
I mean, it may have been like a toss, maybe a throw. It was underhand, so maybe it's not a throw. Maybe you toss somebody under the bus, but there was a body from the second window thrown, and it perfectly matched to where that before they hit the ground, the tires of the bus had gone over them.
Yeah,
so they were kind of.
Dr. Lennon, in Little League, in between T-ball and then playing normally, you kind of have coach pitch, and it's sort of sometimes underhand, but the point of it is kind of like a lighter touch to it. It sounds like that's exactly what's happening, but in this case with a corpse.
The corpse being thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the bus stop after running over this?
No. It just kind of, you got to be on time.
Who was driving this bus? Was this a person?
I was driving the bus.
Oh, you were driving?
Okay. It wasn't, okay. I mean, it may not have been a bus. It may have been a van I stole. And it may have been a van I was actually carrying tons of sauce in. And it may have been that I was actually just kind of collecting people and dropping them off at random places against their will.
It's a bus.
It's a bus, right? Yeah, it's totally
it's a bus.
So, and I guess to clarify on a few points here, when you say sauce, is that like soy sauce, or is that a particular type of sauce that you're referring to?
I like to call it a boss sauce because, as I like to say in the sauce industry, the sauce is boss, as that sauce is my boss. It's worth more than me in gold. And it was a mixture of marinara and teriyaki soy sauce. And it was like a special blend for this new fusion restaurant happening on the North End. And it's a nice like spaghetti with chicken teriyaki going down. It was a really good sauce. It cost a solid $35 per tablespoon. This was a very, very fancy establishment. I mean, I'm not allowed to say, but someone who yells at people on TV for food is the CEO of the restaurant. I'm not supposed to say that, but he was livid when I spilt that much sauce on me.
Okay, and I guess there are kind of a lot of questions I have at the moment, which I feel like unpacking the situation. First, can we go back to you said you were an octopus?
Yes. Well, yes, but I have a disguise that makes people think that I'm a person because I am currently I'm currently trying to destroy the Western world.
Okay, and Western world specifically meaning
I mean, just to catch all of the Western Hemisphere on fire, essentially.
Okay.
Would be that's one way to do it. This is kind of a back burner. I've had my trials and tribulations with that. I've gotten really into sauce as of recently.
It really sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm a big sauce fan. I mean, but I do have to pretend to be human. And
I do want to say, I think the addition to a boss style sauce to the sauce marketplace is a real smart move. I think one of the things we've focused on too much over the last decade sauce-wise are epic sauces, epic-ass sauces,
bomb sauces.
Like kick-ass, epic, hot sauce.
Dope.
And it has like a picture of a donkey, but it's,
or like it has like a gun and a skull, and it's like, this will fucking kill you. No.
Yeah,
this sauce is your boss. It will berate you. It will demean you. it will make you forget why you even like your work, and then it will fire you. And when you get fired and you taste the sweet taste of freedom from that boss sauce, you have it on a little sandwich, and you remember the sauce is pretty boss.
Wow.
And that's the moment we're trying to sell.
Cameron, do we have any sponsors today?
Ooh, it's complicated.
Okay, I guess I'll explain it. So, do we have, did a company or an organization pay money
It's
to the show
complicated.
to have their product or service advertised on the show?
It's complicated. I'm working through a bit of a legal issue.
Okay, well, what's the legal issue?
Do you remember Cameron scooters?
Yeah, that was
very, very, very successful and well plotted idea.
So you were, to refresh our listeners, you had come up with this idea where you stole these scooters that had been these electric scooters from around town from other people who were using them, and then had a few ideas for basically including fireworks with it and selling the combination of firework and sound and scooter as a product for $7,500.
Yeah.
And so that was your big thing.
It wasn't just holding fireworks. The goal was to go really, really fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You wanted to go to, what was it, 130 miles an hour?
Yeah, 120 to 130 miles an hour was the goal.
And you wanted specific sounds to be made by the fireworks.
Yeah. And if I wanted the fireworks to go.
Right.
And if they couldn't make those sounds, I would attach a Bluetooth speaker that would play those sounds. Correct.
Okay. So that product.
Right.
So that somehow got you into legal issues?
Yeah. Well, sort of. I don't know if it's, like Law and Order. I don't know if it's the law side or the order side.
Well, so
basically, I killed 3 people. So I'm riding my scooter around town, right, going 120 miles an hour, weaving in between trees and stuff.
Right.
Going, Cops are chasing me. They're going, slow down. I'm saying, never. All this kind of stuff. Anyway, so I hit this guy.
Okay.
Run to the back of the car.
You hit the guy or you hit the car?
I hit the car
Okay.
that a guy was driving.
Okay.
With 3 other people in the car.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the scooter went through the back window.
Okay.
Chopped off the heads of the 3 people in the back seats.
Did you install like a saw or something on the scooter or a blade? That doesn't sound that possible for a scooter to do unless you were going just ridiculously fast.
Well, I am going 120 miles an hour.
Even that sounds so to decapitate people.
You don't think it had anything to do with me whittling it down, right? Like the part you stand on, I whittled it down to kind of be in a cooler shape.
Yeah, I guess it could. It just sounds very far-fetched. Okay, I guess dismissing the physics of that.
Chopped off their heads.
Okay.
With the scooter. Guy who was driving was pissed. Never seen someone so mad. I'm like, dude, calm down.
So you killed 2 people.
3,
and then there was another driver. So there were 4 people total.
Okay, there was a driver and then 3 other people in the car.
Okay.
I said that minutes ago.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this straight. So you killed the 3 people.
They were all sitting in the back.
Okay.
I don't know if it was an Uber situation. I don't know why.
Okay.
3 people in the back, guy driving.
Okay.
3 people in the back, head chopped off.
Okay.
Scooter was too sharp and fast.
Okay, right.
And hot because of the fireworks.
Okay.
So, combination, pretty cool combination.
And was the sound still
Maybe
playing?
not the coolest combination in every single situation. I imagine for the people whose heads were chopped off, it was not the coolest situation, but that is irrelevant.
Right. So the guy was.
They're in my rear view. I don't even think about those people anymore. They're long gone. Fake friends, you know?
It doesn't sound like they were friends of any kind.
That's what I'm saying. Fake friends. Anyway, so the driver guy, he's pissed. I'm like, dude, calm down. It's not even like that big of a deal.
Well,
Like if these
to
were
kill people is a big deal.
It just didn't seem like how people died trying to go to the moon. You
did
know?
they?
Like in the preparation to go to the moon, yeah.
You mean like they died of natural causes?
No. They died in tests and stuff to
Okay.
prepare for the initial moon landing.
And you think that
I think
killing
every
people-
great human feat comes with some risks, and sometimes those risks are bodies.
And so
The
you're
Great Wall of
seeing-
China, lots of people died building those. The
okay, I'm
pyramids,
sure-
tons
yeah.
of people died building those.
Sure.
World War II, one of the greatest things ever. People died.
But this was your finished product
Yeah.
killing people.
Going fast, making cool noises.
Okay, so the guy was
So,
upset.
you know. Oh, yeah, guy was pissed. I'm like, dude, calm down, dude. And he's like, no, I'm going to call the cops and you're going to go to jail forever. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to jail for being an inventor.
No,
No.
for killing 3 people is probably what
Oh,
he was
yeah,
referring
throw
to.
me in jail because I decided to be innovative. Okay, cool. Yeah, lock me up, sir.
You say that
Lock up
sarcastically.
Einstein, you know?
If Einstein had killed 3 people, then yeah, he would have also been imprisoned probably.
And so anyway, this guy's like, hey, look, man, I won't call the cops if you help me out.
He made that big of a tonal change whenever you had just killed 3 of the people in the car.
Yeah.
He had that little attachment to them.
He was pissed, and then he goes, hey, man, I'll help you out
Okay.
if you help me out. I was like, okay.
It sounds like you found a very shady person then.
I was like, okay, cool. No, he's a cool guy. We're hanging out later. So he's like, all right, I got like a ton of horse feed that I got to get rid of. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know much about horses, but I know a lot about feed.
Right.
I know what you do with it. I know what happens to it.
You talking about whenever you say feed, do you just mean eating?
Yeah.
Like you know a lot about how
Eating
you have to.
and then what happens later. I know all about it. So I'm like, yeah, I can probably help you out.
Okay.
So that is why I'm really, really, really excited and happy to present Dr. London's medical grade equine feed.
Okay. Why is my name on that?
Because he wanted a level of legitimacy that Cameron Scooter Creator did not offer. Because that was my idea initially. I didn't want to get you involved at all.
Thank you for
But
that.
Cameron Scooter Creator's equine horse feed just didn't flow, I guess.
Oh,
So
the
I signed
issue
you
was
up.
branding.
Yeah. So I
Like,
signed you
just
up.
Flow?
So now, I mean, we have like 3,500 of these bags of horse feed that we gotta sell
And you're wanting me to
to read this
What?
ad copy.
okay,
And
because
I need to stress something here. You keep saying like, "Oh, you want me to read this or whatever." I don't care. This guy does.
the guy who you killed 3 of his friends.
Yeah, and he said these aren't going to be the only dead bodies if you don't unload this horse feed.
He threatened your life.
He said more, I'm going to add more bodies to the pile. I don't know whose life he's talking about, but I assume it's yours now that your name's attached to it.
And okay, have you tried going to the police about any of this?
Dude, he is the police.
Are you sure he's not like the mafia?
Well, he was listening to the police.
Okay, well that is different. There's a distinction to be made there. People can buy police scanners and listen to those without being policemen.
No, he was listening to the police. Roxanne.
Okay. So
Every breath you take,
so when you say that he,
every move you make. He's listening to the Greatest Hits album.
okay, so you weren't associating him with a law officer.
Tainted love. Is that the police?
I'm not sure, honestly, but what I am sure of is, okay, he sounds like he was not.
Every little thing she does is magic. Every little thing about the man.
It sounds like he was not an officer of the law.
I don't know. He was listening to the police. So anyway, you need to read this ad.
I don't want to get involved in the mafia.
It has nothing to do with the mafia.
Okay.
It has to do with horse feed, medical grade horse feed, sponsored by Dr. London Smith.
And what makes it medical grade?
You're the doctor.
Well, I
Figure it
haven't
out.
I mean, it's so 3 people. And I don't like, maybe DJ Dylan, can you just maybe edit some of this out or something?
Yeah, make it louder.
Okay. Is your horse too slow? He needs Dr. London's medical grade equine feed. Go from 0 to speedy with our 100% genuine horse approved feed parcels for only $75 a basket. Okay, and did you have horses approve this?
Yeah.
Was that part of the process?
Read the ad.
Okay. If your horse doesn't win the Kentucky Derby after eating my feed, I will personally eat the same amount. I guarantee it. Okay, I won't do that.
It's in the ad. That was one of the things he really, really stressed.
That I have to eat.
That someone's eating this.
Okay. For more info, contact Cameron, who will be at the downtown Carl's Jr. tomorrow through Thursday. Love you. Bye. And that was part of the ad too?
Yep.
I guess that's the part I object to the least. But, all right. Cameron, you should, I guess, lay low for a while, because murdering 3 people isn't a small thing.
It'll be easy to lay low. My name's not on the product. Yours is.
No, I mean for the murder, not the feed, not the horse feed.
He said it was fine. The guy said it was fine. And he was listening to the police, so.
Okay, well.
Every little thing she does is magic.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess thank you to our sponsor, which I guess is me.
Yep.
All right. Okay, and sorry, and to clarify, you've always been able to speak articulately or at all, I suppose, as an octopus, or is that?
You would
all
never
octopus can do
say
that.
that's something you were making coffee with a coffee mater, for example.
Oh
'Cause
no! I would only say I would making coffee with Coffee Mater if I was in the movie Cars and
Yeah.
Mater had come up and given me coffee. But that's obviously everyone does that. But no, all octopus can speak.
Oh wow.
I've never heard of that. Is that's
Well, why would we
common?
want to talk to you guys?
Well,
The only reason I talk to people is to further my plans.
Okay, and so today, your plans, I guess, have some interaction with us.
Is what is our involvement in this destruction of the Western world? Because I'm on the fence right now, but I can be very easily persuaded.
So my big thing was throwing people under the bus is a great concept for my plans. Keep doing it, but just don't do it under my bus because I have a lot of sauce in there.
Okay, and
But I'm here to encourage everything that's happening here. It's
to,
all.
I'm sorry. Well, just to clarify, I don't believe that anyone that I am aware of was responsible for throwing anyone under that bus. I'm not sure what happened in the scenario. Are you sure? Well,
Dr. London, I believe he's suggesting that our very podcast itself is assisting in his plan to destroy the Western world.
Okay, and I guess on that note,
Which I would suggest that maybe half of the podcast is, maybe the half that's stuffier. How do I put this? Richer, doctory.
Elite. That's the word.
Whereas maybe the half of the podcast that maybe makes the world better is kind of the more smart, handsome, cool guy one.
okay, well, and I appreciate that feedback, but okay, I guess
Just that you see our guest and I discussing something as feedback.
I mean, yeah. So let's pull back the curtain. We are all sitting here. I'm surprised you didn't know I was an octopus since we're in the same room. My disguise is very good. I guess that's I should take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Let's pull the curtain back.
Yeah, I mean, you look exactly like Jonah Hill, which is interesting because that's kind of who I thought I was getting when I kind of,
I do sometimes mark myself as Jonah Hill because people do want to talk to him. He's a very funny guy. He's a wonderful person. I have spent some time with Jonah Hill, and that's how I got his agent. I've really just been like kind of low key binge Jonah Hill for the past few weeks.
Wow.
And I've been getting some great engagements. But yeah, we're in this studio, and
you're engaged.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congrats.
I was.
Okay. And I
was engaged in that.
As Jonah Hill, you were engaged.
Well, as Jonah Hill, but more importantly, it was kind of spooky. So I brought my fiance. We met. It was a lovely time. And then, we moved all our documents together into my new apartment. And we're moving there, and, we had trouble sleeping because there's all these, like, rackets and howling and all crazy nonsense above. It kind of always say stuff like, the devil's coming for you, all this nonsense or whatever.
Right.
And then one day, so we're not sleeping at all. There's something going on in the house. And then one day, I got up, and her cat had spilled freaking like Vegemite, like some like kind of like pulped Vegemite all over my 2018 tax documents. I'm no longer able to keep financial consistency of my tax returns, and I had to dump her for it.
Oh wow.
I mean, and it's rattled me. I am horrified.
This is why you don't cohabitate with an Australian.
Yeah. And so,
is that the issue? Okay.
And then, so I'm still hearing the noises, but, I've gotten used to it. But, man, I'm still rattled by those tax documents. They really are just...
Okay. So as going about as Jonah Hill for the past few weeks has led to some engagement, which it sounds like it's actually over, so I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. But,
I mean, it was definitely a good run while it lasted.
Okay, well, to go back to this van, because you kind of changed your story a little bit with how it was a bus, then it's a van, and you were trying to...
And then we established that a bus is a van if you are transporting people.
Dropping people off against their will.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Could you
what
tell me
like
about,
a bus does.
Could you tell me about these people? Why were you dropping them off against their will?
Okay, so I have an associate. He's, he has this company. And it's called non-consensual tours. It's essentially like if you're a tourist in the city, but you like are on your day where you don't want to go walk around and stuff, we don't allow that. We find you, we kidnap you, and we drive you around town, and we give you a tour of the city against your will.
Oh, wow.
Do they sign up for this beforehand, or?
Well, this...
No, it's just people we find at like hotels and stuff.
Yeah, this sounds great. There's so many times I've been on vacation or traveling to another city and just trying to figure out what to do on a free afternoon is overwhelming in and of itself. And it sounds like this is taken care of.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there thinking like, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bad. Maybe I want to stay in tonight. No, we pull up, we grab you in. The guy, he knows a wonderful walking tour of the town. It's beautiful. We do have to like gag you because people like to scream, but some people get excited by that. So win-win in my opinion.
Okay. But I guess to me it sounds a little unusual because what Karen was suggesting was that you sign up for, like, at least from the way you made it sound, is you sign up for something and then...
That's not what I said.
If you're bored...
Nope.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with what I just said. I said when you're visiting another town or city that you're not familiar with,
Right.
it can be overwhelming to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to do, what sites to see.
Right. And so in
And
that
then
case, you would want to sign up for something
nothing you
like this.
just said had anything to do with what I had just said.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page here. We're all saying that this is a completely legitimate business that's not illegal, and that we should keep kidnapping tourists.
Yeah, I mean, I would even maybe think about franchising this thing.
I think we can. I mean, we could probably get into like all of the East Coast and possibly even the South.
I think there's a lot of markets that would open up to this. If you think about, duck tours, remember duck tours were really sort of a popular thing for a while, but then the one in that Detroit or something, it sunk.
It sunk, and
That's a market.
we did buy up some duck boats, but it turns out they're dangerous, so we had to like rebrand them as vans.
Makes sense. Do you just still
So as
drive
vans,
into
not
the
buses.
drive into the water?
Well, so 2 questions.
Yes.
We've already decided that a van with people in it is a bus, and yes, we do drive into the water, but it's usually to hide the evidence.
Okay. And what evidence? Do you mean bodies?
I mean, it depends. Sometimes the non-consensual tour business, I try and keep this separate because it's not really my business. It's an associate's, and I just help them out every once in a while, and I get to deliver sauce in the van.
Right.
But sometimes, I need to dispose in my machinations of, let's say I wanted to see if I could make the line at the airport longer. Well, I would need to destroy a bunch of documents at the airport, and the easiest way to do that is to drive it into the water, because no one's going to find the documents there.
So you're really, I mean, it sounds like you're multitasking, ultimately.
It's very efficient.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, okay, for one thing, we believe in a patient autonomy, where a patient actually gets to make their own decisions. And so,
I mean, you would want to make the whole medical process automatic.
No, I'm sorry.
Just get rid of everyone's jobs. I see how it is.
Okay.
I think that's, is that what you're saying, doctor?
No, I'm sorry. To clarify, patient autonomy is whenever the patient
You'd
gets
love
to...
your patients to be just robots, automatic robots who come in and say,
Automation.
beep,
You're just trying
borp.
to take away our jobs.
Dr. London, my lungs hurt. And then you say, oh, I'm going to push you under a bus. Or whatever, or don't. Because, again, I don't remember where I settled on that at the beginning of the episode.
I think you settled, I'm pretty sure, I was able to listen in because I was just in the room here, that you settled on, one sec, let me.
Oh, you took notes.
I took a lot of, there's way more notes in here than I need. I got like 50 pages, man. And most of it's just drawings of cats. But I believe I do not have where you settled on that. I lied.
But you took down notes about, let's say, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Isn't that the Grinch disease?
Yep.
Okay, no. That's in young athletes. They can suddenly
Like
die
the
from...
Grinch.
Have you seen the Grinch, play any kind of sport? Because that dude is, not only is he jacked, but he can move. He's swift as well.
Swift UI.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I have seen him play, at least not an organized sport.
Of course. You wouldn't be familiar with things that the common man are familiar with.
You're obviously not into the Grinch canon because you got so HCM, you wrote down, this is pretty sure I got you word for word here on this one, which is
Okay.
hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is when the Grinch doesn't exercise because he has too much love, and that leads to him suddenly dying.
Yep.
Okay. No. That you're mixing up what
And I believe
Cameron
I
said.
also said that I love science and I love medicine because it's badass.
Right? And that medicine is kind of, maybe we should focus more on like a supervisor style medicine.
In what way do you mean supervised? Like supervised?
As in, okay, we already know that, you as a doctor are trying to get me addicted to opioids.
Yep.
And so maybe we should instead of having it to where like the medicine is like medicating me, it's also supervising me. So it's like, hey, I'm not going to get you addicted to opioids. Instead, this pill has a camera on it and it watches you. And if you try and take more pills than you're allowed, it zaps you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, so one solution that we're finding is just to not prescribe so many opioids.
Do you think that this kind of pill
Instead.
could have Wi-Fi technology so it could connect to your Alexa and then she'd be able to tell you when
would
you're
want
about
it
to be
connected
zapped?
to. You want it connected to Twitter, really, because you want the pill to let everyone know and shame you.
Oh,
which
okay.
is which I mean, I've heard that's a healthy psychological thing to do to patients is to berate them and really spook them.
I would have to say actually that's been found to be positive reinforcement is actually better.
Oh,
than
so like
negative reinforcement.
So giving them the pill.
No,
just like you would give everyone a trophy. You're just the type of doctor who gives every patient a trophy. That's how you see them. Oh, I'm just gonna give you positive reinforcement. I'm not gonna be real. How about you speak your mind?
We try to encourage patients because the more encouragement you say, maybe you have these problems, but you can improve in these ways. That's sort of the way that we say you're at a certain spot now, but we can do better.
Giving every patient a trophy.
That's just good old fashioned, everyone's special.
Yep, that's how
Kinda
he sees
cool.
it. But he
like
sees
it, though,
everyone
'cause
as
everyone is
special
special.
and also wants them to be a robot that he throws under the bus. This is the kind of nuanced and complicated views that Dr. London has towards the common man. That's what he calls people like us.
I do have a question about the Grinch disease. What essential oil should I use to combat this?
Ooh.
Okay. To my knowledge, essential oils aren't really our first line or even second line drugs.
Except for they're called essential.
They're essential oils. I mean, are you okay? I'm just gonna give you my essential oil breakdown of the day.
Okay.
So first, I get out of my human costume and I roll around and do my octopus squishy things. It's a fun time.
Great.
Okay.
Then I fill a tub completely full of garlic and sage oil, and my entire apartment reeks of garlic. The demons up in the second floor, they hate it. They don't like garlic. I mean, I kind of wish they liked it more because they come hang out, but they're just busy screaming because the smell of the garlic's so strong. Then I submerge myself completely, and I can barely breathe in there because the oxygen content of garlic oil is very low.
Right.
And so I nearly pass out to the garlic fumes until but I have a little timer. And then when I pass out, my tentacle hits the timer and it turns on the cold water and it wakes me up and it's like being born. Now, is that something that can help solve my Grinch disease that I have?
Yeah, absolutely.
To clarify on this, so what you're referring to as the Grinch disease, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, it's a genetic disease that you're either born with or you're not. And
Are you saying my genes aren't good enough to have the Grinch disease?
I'm saying that most likely your genes are
I thought you were into
better.
positive reinforcement. Does this sound positive to you, Dr.
So
London?
I'm feeling personally attacked.
Wow.
So
Are you saying that I'm not
You're making
good
our guest
enough?
feel insecure about his own body.
So it's not a good disease to have. It is a disease. So not having it,
So you're saying he's not allowed to have it because you've decided that it's bad. This is the kind of nanny state nonsense that I'm not crazy about.
I mean, hell, just join me, and I'm currently on track to burn down the entire Western Hemisphere. I mean, I haven't tried yet. I've thrown a few matches at the Forest, hasn't gone too well. But
Okay.
I mean, if you're saying that my garlic oil isn't helping my octopus heart, then I don't know if I can trust the medical establishment.
Right. Which is good. You definitely should not be trusting the medical establishment, especially not Dr. London. If you wanted to swing by my pharmacy, which we have talked about in previous episodes, I stock up on some great stuff that I kind of find around the house and, from like friends of friends and whatever.
Do you have a good alternative to, like, let's say the measles vaccine? Because I mean, I'm worried about getting MMR.
Okay, no.
Well, I've got some red stuff. Measles are
Do you
red,
have, like,
right?
bleach?
Are measles red, Dr. London?
The measles, the virus isn't.
So I think measles are red. I got some red stuff.
If my skin's blue because I'm an octopus, would the red measles turn into purple measles?
Yeah, it would. Gosh. So what we can do, I've got some red stuff. It's like a goopy stuff. And then I've also got
purple stuff.
I think I've also got some blue, even goopier stuff.
So can we mix that together?
I think if you maybe did 2-to-1 ratio of the red goopy stuff to the blue goopy stuff,
Can we write
it should
this down?
keep your color pretty solid.
Let me write this down. Okay, good. I'll come by later today.
What arm do you write with?
Are you? Which-handed are you? Or tentacled?
I normally write with my fifth, counterclockwise, but they're all pretty good. I'm pretty ambidextrous.
Okay.
I do want to ask real quick, what are your plans going forward?
And why do you want to burn down the Western Hemisphere?
Yeah, I guess that's important too.
That was my question.
Oh, so the main reason I wanted to burn down the Western Hemisphere was that they canceled VeggieTales after only 2 episodes.
Wow. Even though VeggieTales was a straight-to VHS series.
They canceled it.
You suggested
I mean, I've only been able to
canceled.
find 2 VHS. Someone did tell me recently that there are other seasons of VeggieTales, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I have a growing list of concerns. Like, first off, I was in fact stolen from my home near Florida and put into the Miami Aquarium. That put a thorn in me.
Wow.
Then, I went to Burger King HQ in New York City when they canceled the chicken fingers or the chicken fries, and I was like, hey, dude, like I mainly eat these chicken fries. Can I talk to the CEO? And they just threw me out of the building. I mean, I was holding a knife, but I'm allowed to do that as an American.
Yeah.
And so they
Were
threw me out
you-
of the building. That also that one's the one that really got me really mad. That's when I went straight to California to try and burn down, try and start a huge riot in Alcatraz.
Oh, wow.
When you went to that Burger King, were you in your Jonah Hill persona, or were you going as an octopus? Because either of those could get a reaction.
I did go as an octopus for that one. And New York's really easy to get around because I can just go in the sewers or the subway. People really don't do anything. Like, if they see an octopus on the subway, they're like, whatever.
Right.
And who is this associate you were talking about before? It seems like a lot of this was centered around kind of the whims of this associate.
The reason you were driving the sauce.
What? I have
fan.
multiple associates. One of my main associates is this man named Proper Gent. I don't know if he knows I'm an octopus yet. I think he does, but I'm not sure. But we do some projects together,
Right.
And so he's a very proper gentleman from the UK, I believe.
When you
And,
say that he doesn't know yet, is this sort of a difficult thing for you to reveal your identity as being an octopus to people?
I mean, he's a pretty cool guy, but I mean, some people are really against octopuses. I remember
yeah.
I went to Vegas and they eat octopus there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know that it depends.
Inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, in animal.
I mean, I had some. I didn't realize it was octopus, but pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I only ask because, different people identify in different ways. And so I understand how it could be difficult for you to sort of go public with your identity, how you identify, whether that be human or octopus. And
Well, I mean, it's not that I identify as octopus. I am an octopus.
Right. No, and I identify as a male, a cis straight male, and that's I am.
Are you saying
also
I'm not an
that.
octopus? Are you saying that
Dr.
I'm a cis
London.
straight male? I'm an octopus, dude.
No, I'm
you
sorry,
can see me. I am across the. I took
see
off
you.
the hat.
I see you. You look like an octopus. I'm just saying, we in this day and age, we have to. It's not only what we sort of physically are, but it's also how we identify to know if you identified.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
As-
I have to.
Yes, you. I mean,
And I do, sorry to interrupt, side note a little bit, it is insanely impressive that your costume to look like Jonah Hill is just a hat. Because
just a hat.
It's so crazy how I thought you were Jonah Hill, and that's why I invited you into this record in general. And
It's a really good hat.
it's just a trucker hat. It's just a normal trucker hat.
Just
Like-
a normal trucker hat.
But you
it's-
look
it's
like Jonah
good.
Hill when it's on.
because Jonah Hill doesn't
ties it
wear
all
one of
together.
those.
I've never seen him wear a trucker hat. I don't understand.
Well,
But
it's
you
because
take it
it
off and you're
reminds you of Skeeter from that one movie.
Doug?
No, I'm thinking of the Strange Wilderness, where Jonah Hill plays a stoner cameraman while they go and hunt down Bigfoot. And so I think a lot of people remember that movie, and so they see the trucker hat, they're like, oh, that's Jonah Hill from
Yep.
2000 and 2006.
Right, and I guess since even for those of us who haven't seen that movie, there is that sort of an underlying character development that he's put on through the years.
Yeah, it's more of a larger aura
Yeah.
to it than it is even a physical appearance.
Wow.
I mean, I can do a pretty good Jonah Hill accent.
that's
we-
all I've heard.
Can we hear it?
I can lean into it a little bit here.
Okay.
Hey, it's me, Jonah Hill.
Oh my
I like to
gosh.
be in movies, and sometimes I like to I gain weight for some roles and I lose weight for other roles. Oh, I was in that movie Superbad where I got laid.
Wow.
And you, wow.
It's like I'm
Wait,
right in the room.
and without the hat? Can you try it without
Let me
the
take
hat?
the hat off. Okay,
Yeah.
and I'll try it without the hat. Hey guys, I'm Jonah Hill.
That
That worked.
Put the hat back on there. Not
It's
to
me,
be disparaging.
It's me, Jonah Hill again.
Okay, there it is. So
Yeah,
anyway, it's been great to have you on, Jonah Hill. Sorry,
I'll take the hat off. Just to
okay,
be-
Fancy
Yes.
Octopus. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I can. Sorry, it really does sort of mess with me.
It's crazy, right? It's kind of insane.
Yeah, but well, in any case, we've been thankful. I guess Jonah Hill wouldn't have necessarily have been a guest that would have contributed to the medical side of things, but having a big guest in general would have been something, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Fancy
Yeah.
Octopus, for coming on, and for Jonah Hill.
I mean, if you're looking for like a big guest, I do have an internet following, kind of that like listens to my words. To some degree.
The internet follows you, or
Well, I follow a lot of people on the internet.
okay, it's not like a
and-
stalker situation.
No, I'm not stalking nobody as of yet.
Okay.
But I do have, things that are published out, and so there are people who have heard the name. They exist.
Okay. Could you let us know if you so where to find you in
so
on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on my podcast. I know it's not great for my secret identity to publish like podcasts, but I do it anyway. I got a music podcast, First Impressions Music, where we, talk music and stuff. We listen to new music. You want to find new music, it's a good way to go. And then also Buried Gems, which is like a literature podcast where we read internet literature and try and find the next Harry Potter, which that's the one proper jam. That's the big Destroy the West type thing that we're thinking that we're going to do great work over there.
Wow.
Right, because if you can get the rights to that before it takes off,
Then we'll have all the money we need.
right. Okay. Well,
So it's purely a funding initiative for this
Yes.
larger goal. Okay.
okay.
Also, we figured if we find the next Harry Potter and we advertise it successfully, it will create a civil war.
right. Okay. I
You know
suppose
how,
that can be good.
You know how like Twilight had Team Edward and Team Jacob?
Yes.
And everybody was about to kill each other over it? Now imagine if we had Twilight and Harry Potter, multiply them by each other, and then add in some 50 Shades of Grey.
I do. This is sorry. I don't mean to stop everything in its tracks, but my father was. I mean, he was Team Jacob, and I was Team Edward, and so we haven't.
You guys haven't gotten
we
over
haven't
it yet?
Well, we haven't brought up in the
we
podcast,
haven't,
certainly.
We haven't spoken in a long time because of just sort of.
Well, because people
It's
talk about how
just-
divided the nation is now, but
Just
back
why
at
would you
that
pick a
time-
werewolf?
Yeah.
Why would you pick a werewolf over the vampire? Like I just don't get it.
And
but
I told you I'm on your side on this.
Sorry.
And of course, we're team. I
see?
shouldn't say that. We aren't apolitical. We are not trying to be political on this podcast. But
So you see, if I can capture what just happened here and magnify it with an even better book, I could destroy
Yeah.
the world.
I honestly, I can't wish you well on that journey because that.
I definitely can, and I can say that it's the official endorsement of the Jock Talk podcast.
It's a fun time. Even if you don't want to destroy the world, it's just a fun time too.
Kind of sounds like it. And the bus tour thing sounds super fun.
The bus tour thing is great. We don't advertise for that because we just take people.
Right, it would
So-
ruin the surprise of it.
Exactly. So if you ever
Right.
find yourself in one of our non-consensual tours, thank you so much. We love our patrons, and but you will get home safely. 80% chance.
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say that didn't. From what I understood, that was not the case.
He did establish they are former duck boats, and as we know, things happen once they hit the water. Blah blah
Yes.
blah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. Like, is
or
it gonna
glug
float?
glug glug. Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to.
Also
And for
glug,
me,
glug,
it's like
glug.
kind of a non-issue if it floats or not. So I'm not really too worried.
For you, it's a non-issue because you're not on the boat.
Well, no, I
sorry.
can swim.
Because you are an octopus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. My name is drlondonsmith.com, and you're, of course, Fancy Octopus. Thank you for being here on the Jock podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that was our last episode. Or third. Honestly, it's hard to keep track ever since the fiasco of Cameron losing his favorite horseshoe. So Cameron does not believe in horses. So when he found a horseshoe, he didn't understand it nor what to do with it. But he did drop it on the ground once, and when it clattered, he thought it said something. So he's been trying to... You've been trying to get it to talk ever since.
I didn't think it did anything. It did what it did. I don't think you're in front of me right now. I know you are.
Yeah, so in this case, though, whenever it clattered, you've been going on about how it talked to you. But
I didn't think it did anything. It did something, and then I reported it to you.
Okay. So as I said, he recently lost that horseshoe. So he now thinks that maybe he didn't listen hard enough, or that there was a secret that he was trying to tell before it escaped.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't know. That's still where it stands?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a horseshoe on me, do I?
Okay. Now, so to our listeners, if you have seen Cameron's horseshoe somewhere, please tell us about it in a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. And also, please text friends and family with a link to your favorite episode, or just use our handy website, jockdocpodcast.com.
Please help me find my horseshoe. Please, through a 5-star review.
And you could also send a picture of the horseshoe, or... okay, so Cameron has a lot of pictures of this horseshoe.
Yeah.
And he'll insist that you need to send that one.
Yep.
And that it responds to the name Xena.
Yep.
So I guess you could, but I think any horseshoe would work for that.
No.
Anyway, thank you for listening to the Jock Doc podcast.
I found it. I grafted it to the bottom of my foot.